Hello, here we are. We're going to take a look at the SFO changes for the Empire factions since the rework. But today we're only going to be looking at building an infrastructure and the skill tree, the tech tree. We're not going to look at the individual characters or factions because those need a little bit more in depth. Probably just going to do Wissenland, Reichland, and Gelt, because I'm not sure too many people are interested in what's going on with Marcus, although there might be some interest in Volkmar. So this mechanic remains the same. The authority, once you own land in the Empire, you increase your benefits for Empire factions owning Empire territory, and Empire territory can be located with this icon. So we're going to take a look in Altdorf, so we can take a look at the buildings. As with many things in SFO, certain portions of the factions have been weakened. They delay things, they make them less strong. We're going to take a look at all the main buildings across here. So the first one we're going to take a look at here, you got your training field. Here it provides melee defense under siege, but reduces growth. So the idea here being a little bit like Bretonia, where if people are being recruited, that there's not going to be as much economic benefit. Here you're going to have that growth gone and the melee defense increased. And then here, the same thing. You're going to get your great swords from here. The units are the same at each tier. The Empire Captain has been moved up to Tier 3. That guy is at Tier 2 in the vanilla version. If we look down here, we're going to find that the Witch Hunter is still attached to the hostel rebuilding in SFO. He's in the marksman shooting range buildings in the new remake. He's in here with the handgunners. And again, these are all the same. The units, Hochland long rifles, Null Ironsides, new units since the rework. This building here now, missile damage under siege and growth is gone. And again, you're reducing the growth in a territory when it becomes military. So this is going to encourage you to make Altdorf an economic powerhouse and then shift the military buildings to the smaller ones. We've still got the Empire Knights and the cavalry recruited from the stables. We've still got the artillery recruited from here. But there's a major change here. In vanilla, Hellstorm rocket batteries come from Tier 4. Everybody's going to be very happy to see that in SFO, while the engineer has been moved up a tier, Hellstorm rocket batteries have been moved down a tier. Hellstorm rocket battery is probably one of the greatest units in the game, something everybody should have. For me, the Empire is piles and piles of horrible infantry with absolutely devastating marksmanship and artillery. So that hasn't really changed. There's been a change here to the Shrine of Sigmar. You can get your warrior priests here as before, but instead of just being a two-tier building where the next step up increased capacity for warrior priests and increased their recruit rank, you can see that it's adding a number of different benefits. Control, corruption, capacity, no rank, and then it unlocks these technologies. Okay, so you've got some new units here. You've got the Chapel of Ulrich, from which you can get these Wolfkin Great Axe infantry, sort of barbaric infantry. Some new units all the way up here. Probably I would never recruit these. I don't really play a melee style with the Empire. Doesn't mean you can't. Changes down here. This is a growth 20, casualty replenishment rate, growth 30, growth 40. And that's all in line with what it was before. There's not really any changes here. Now, you also had 2%, 3%, 2%, 4%, and 6% casualty replenishment. That's been reduced. But you now get growth in all provinces. So as you spam these, every other province up this level starts to grow faster. Now, the economic building used to be the best bang for the buck in all of Warhammer. You'd pay a year to 900, 1,000, you get 250 income. Now it's down to 100. So instead of 250, 375, and 500, you can see here you're getting 100, some die, you're getting 200, some more die, and then 300. So they've nerfed the income, and they've added a control destabilizer. But it's balanced by the fact that you get some dies. Now, you're not getting a lot of die, you're not going to make a lot of money out of that, but it's going to allow you to get trade with people you might not have gotten trade with before. The specific buildings to Altdorf we're not going to take a look at here because we'll save that for friends. I'm not sure if this is common to everybody, but there's a couple of additional buildings here where you can just do benefits to your characters and your troops, and then you can get a little extra garrison. Don't seem to be the case that garrisons are an issue in SFO. I don't seem to get invaded any more than usual. So what we're really looking at is some minor changes. Empire Captain moved up here. You've got your Witch Hunter is still here as he is in vanilla, whereas in the old vanilla before the rework, and you've got your Warrior Priest in here. But Hellstorm rocket batteries now being at tier 3, absolutely wonderful and welcome improvement, I would say. Okay, let's go now and take a look into the tech tree. The biggest change here is going to be the additional research necessary to get things. So these are 3 in vanilla. You can see there are 5 now. These are 3 in vanilla and they're 5. So if we click here, we can see this is 5 turns, then 10, then 15, and then 20. Those are far easier to get. They're 3, 5, 7, and 9 in vanilla. So you're going to be looking at increasing your research rate. I believe, if we look at Altdorf here, that no research rate for engineers. Research rate can be increased for engineers in the dwarfs. Must be something that increases. Oh, say there's research rate plus 5% there. So you're going to have to look around for research rate increases, or just accept that delay. So again, most of these are going to be pretty much the same with some small changes. The major change is going to be to the initial delay and then the costs of these things. This is going to be a cost in prestige. These are going to be a cost in money that traditionally, I think it's 7,000 in vanilla. So what are the changes to these? Well, state troops here, recruit rank, leadership, and speed. That's going to be what? +2, +5, and +5 in vanilla. So the recruit rank won't be as good and the speed won't be as good. You've got +4 and +4 here. That's the same. You've got +10 and +10 here. It's +15 armor in vanilla. And then this is +10 and Imperial Allegiance melee damage reflection. That's, I believe it's +8 melee attack for the heavy weapon units there. I'm going to take a look at the missiles because you're going to want those missile units when you're playing as the Empire. Mass-produced small ammunition, 10% and 10% reload time reduction. That's 10 and 15 in the vanilla. You've got 10 missile and 10 missile resistance here. Those are 5 and 10 in vanilla. You've got your cavalry units here. You get a little extra speed and a little extra range, but you also get missile strength here. And then the rifled barrels want 25% accuracy and 10% range. That's outstanding. So the top tiers of these are going to be a little better than they used to be, but it takes longer to get there. what else are we taking a look at? These guys here, you've got control and increase in capacity. That's pretty much the same. You're going to get increased capacity for all your heroes here. Some research rate, and then manualism here. Diplomatic relations with Empire, Lord Recruit rank. This is really, really, really good. Here you've got an army ability to buff everybody, buff one unit. But it's, you know, you got that one unit that needs to take out an enemy. There's your bonus. But these two are good. The Empire is very, very good at recruiting large armies globally. And then down here, you're going to have this, depending on if you're playing Gelt. This is going to be important to you. This has a section that's specific to each legendary lord. Of course, this is the Karl Franz one. This one here permits negotiation with all factions, increases diplomatic relations and missile and weapon damage for Karl's army. And then in this one here, the Emperor's decrees. Those are Karl's specific use of prestige. Then you've got the Sigmar Ulrich deities text added down here. You have to have specific buildings or resources to open these. Here's the buildings: Temple of Sigmar, okay, Grand Altar of Ulrich, and then there's of course the 10,000 gods. This is pretty standard across SFO that there's a $10,000 buy-in on the technologies. So what do we have? These are going to be army abilities, right? So you've got an invulnerable, unbreakable unit. You're going to get a large explosion. Here you're going to get magical attacks and melee defense. So lots and lots of single-use abilities. Something that's going to be best tailored to your playstyle. What unit do you have? What kind of magic do you use? What ability do you need? And they're going to be upper tier things. Late game, where you have to have a large amount of money to get into them. So we will look more specifically at individual leaders and then unit changes later on and the faction changes, but this is just an introduction to the basic changes in SFO to buildings and to the tech tree. Thank you.